There are things in our body that seem common, but that were designed by God with a greater purpose. And today I want to tell you about one of those things. It is in a place you have never paid attention to, under your tongue. That's right. It may seem simple, but there lies one of the most powerful tools that a chosen one can use to awaken their spiritual energy and reconnect with their purpose. We are not talking about magic or mysticism. We are talking about a natural gesture that anyone can do, but that few know how to use in the right way. Placing the tongue on the roof of the mouth may seem like just a detail, but for those with a calling, this detail becomes a path of spiritual activation, a point of contact between what is earthly and what is eternal. Have you noticed that when you are in deep silence or praying with more surrender, your tongue often touches the roof of your mouth without you commanding it? This happens because the body feels what the spirit is asking for. This simple gesture helps to concentrate, calm, listen, and feel. And more than that, it aligns your energy with the will of God. During this video, I will show you how this works and why so many people begin to feel peace, clarity, or even spiritual tingling when they learn to do this with intention. It may seem like a small thing, but God loves to use the simple to reveal the profound. And today, you will understand why this little gesture could be the push you needed to reignite your connection with heaven. If you have ever had that feeling that your soul wants to speak but can't, or that something inside you wants to wake up but is still asleep, then this message is for you. Perhaps the answer you were seeking has been under your tongue all along. And before we proceed, make sure to subscribe to the channel. This is a place of awakening, a place of words that activate, uplift, and remind you of who you are. Click there and come with me, because what comes next will ignite something you may not have even known you were carrying. Perhaps you have never thought about it, but there is something in your body that can help you awaken your spiritual energy. Something that God placed there, simple and discreet, but with a purpose much greater than you might imagine. I am talking about your tongue. More specifically, the act of touching the tongue to the roof of the mouth. What seems like just any gesture can work like a spiritual button, connecting your inner self to what is eternal. Many people report that when doing this with consciousness, they feel an internal shift, as if the mind slows down, as if the heart becomes calmer, as if an invisible thread connects directly to heaven. And indeed, there is a spiritual explanation for this. The chosen ones always carry within them different ways to connect with God, and one of them lies in how the body responds to the divine presence. When you intentionally touch your tongue to the roof of your mouth, something special happens. Distraction loses its strength, focus increases, and the breath adjusts. It's as if the body understands. Now it is time to go back inside. This gesture works like a seal, a reminder that you have access to something greater, and that this is not outside, but within you. This practice has been known by men and women of prayer for a long time, often in silence, in worship, during meditation, or even in moments of pleading. The body organized itself. The tongue naturally rose, the mind quieted, and the spirit gained space. This was not taught. It was perceived. It was as if the body already knew the way. And this continues to happen to this day. A chosen one perceives that there are small gestures that carry great meanings, and this is one of them. When you silence yourself and make this gesture with reverence, something within you aligns. And this internal alliance changes the external as well. Your words come out lighter, your thoughts become clearer, and your presence becomes stronger, because you have returned to the center. You have remembered who you are. If you have never done this consciously, start with a simple moment. Sit in silence. Touch your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Breathe slowly, and just be there. Present. Do not expect anything specific. Just allow your body to connect. The signs will come. And when they do, you will understand that this gesture has always been yours. It was just waiting to be awakened. Few people notice, but there are divine messages engraved in our bodies since we were born. God, who knows every detail of our existence even before we are formed, also designs paths within us. And these paths are not only in the mind or the heart, they are also in gestures, physical responses, postures that arise naturally. One of them is the position of the tongue touching the roof of the mouth. And those chosen by God often discover this without anyone teaching them. Perhaps you have experienced this. Moments when, without knowing why, in prayer or in the face of something intense, your tongue would touch the roof of your mouth on its own. Maybe you didn't even notice the gesture, but later realized that calm came, that something shifted inside. This is a sign, and it is ancient. It has been with you since birth. The chosen ones have a kind of sensitivity that is not learned. It manifests early. As a child, you could already sense when the environment was charged, when someone was lying, when the atmosphere changed, even if no one said anything. This sensitivity is spiritual, and it comes along with other marks that point to the mission. The Bible shows that some were chosen from the womb, and if this is true, and it is, then the body was also prepared. And it is not an exaggeration to think that simple gestures like this one were placed there by God as tools for return. Like little reminders that say, "You belong to something greater." By placing the tongue on the roof of the mouth with intention, the chosen one seals the body. It blocks out the noise. It returns inward. And in this gesture, often, answers arise that the mind could not reach. Because this position is not just physical, it fine-tunes the spiritual frequency. It is as if the body says, "Now I am ready to listen." And you do not need to be an expert in anything to practice this. You just need to be present. Breathe calmly. Gently touch your tongue to the roof of your mouth, and let the rest happen. Unexpected peace may come. A tear may come. A memory may come. All of this is the body reacting to the presence of God, and the spirit remembering the mission. The gesture is simple, but the effect is profound, because it was not invented, it was revealed. And those who have this sign since birth feel that it is time to awaken and to respond. There is a very special moment in the spiritual journey of those who have been called by God. An instant when, even in silence, the body begins to react in a different way. The heart slows down, thoughts organize themselves, and a feeling of peace starts to arise without logical explanation. For the chosen ones, this moment is more than an emotional state. It is a sign that the spirit is aligning with heaven. This type of reaction can happen in moments of prayer, worship, or deep silence. But there is one detail that many ignore. The gesture of placing the tongue on the roof of the mouth with awareness can be the trigger for this awakening. It may seem simple, but those who have practiced it know that it is not just a physical movement. It is a point of contact with something that is beyond what the eyes can see. When you do this intentionally, with faith, attention, and surrender, the body responds. Some people feel a light vibration in their forehead. Others feel tingling in their hands or feet. Some are simply overwhelmed by such a great peace that they seem to enter another place within themselves. This is the spiritual vibration being activated. It is not magic. It is a code that God placed in the bodies of those He has chosen. This gesture activates a connection that links the spirit to the physical body. When the tongue touches the roof of the mouth with intention, it is as if the body is saying, "I am ready. I am here. Speak to me, Lord." And the most beautiful thing about this is that the spirit responds. It rises, it aligns, it vibrates. The Bible speaks of moments when the body reacted to the presence of God. Moses took off his sandals before the burning bush. Isaiah said his lips were unclean. Ezekiel fell with his face to the ground. There is always a physical reaction to the spiritual manifestation. And with the chosen ones today, it is no different. The difference is that now many of these signs have been forgotten. But the gesture of the tongue on the roof of the mouth is one of those ancient keys that resurface when the spirit is awakening. You do not need to force anything. Just be present. Sit calmly. Breathe deeply. Gently touch your tongue to the roof of your mouth. And wait. It may take seconds. It may take minutes. But something within you will begin to change. Because this gesture helps to gather everything that was scattered. It focuses the mind, calms the body, and opens space for the spirit to act. And it is not just in the moment. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to return to this state of balance. The spiritual vibration begins to feel familiar. You learn to identify when you are out of alignment. And you also learn to return to the center. This is the power of a simple practice that speaks to the soul without needing words. This type of sensitivity cannot be learned from books. It is born from presence. It strengthens in the secret. And it grows when you honor the signs that God has placed in you. This vibration that arises is a gift. It is a reminder that you are alive on the inside, that the Spirit still speaks, and that your mission is pulsating. If you feel this, keep going. If you have not felt it yet, practice with patience. It is not about seeking sensations, but about allowing your spirit to have space to express itself. Because in the silence of a small gesture, God can begin something great. There are moments when we feel that everything is out of place. The mind is racing, the heart is restless, and life seems directionless. But then comes a moment of silence, a deeper breath, a conscious gesture, and things begin to return to center. It is at this point that the body and spirit meet, and you realize that you are not alone. You are being aligned. The gesture of touching the tongue to the roof of the mouth, no matter how simple it may seem, can be that point of return. It is not magic. It is not mysticism. It is presence. It is attention. It is a physical act that reorganizes the interior. And when the interior reorganizes, everything around begins to respond. Chaos gives way to peace. Doubt gives way to clarity. The weight begins to dissolve. This happens because the physical gesture has a spiritual impact. The body, created by God, is not separate from the mission. It is part of the plan. And those who are chosen need to learn to listen to the signals from their own bodies. Because it speaks. It reacts. It alerts you when the spirit is asking for attention. And many times, this alert comes subtly. A discomfort, an unexplained fatigue, a repetitive thought, By bringing the tongue to the roof of the mouth with awareness, the body understands that it is time to turn inward. The mind quiets, the energy reorganizes, and the spirit begins to express itself. It is at this moment that many realize the answers were not outside. They were waiting for space to arise. This practice helps to create that space. And more than that, it activates a sense of mission. Because when the interior calms, the voice of God becomes clearer. Intuition grows stronger. And decisions carry a different weight. They are no longer guided by fear, by impulse, by distraction. They are led by peace, by the certainty of being guided by the Spirit. You begin to notice that things make more sense, that there is a path being built from the inside out, and this changes the way you live. Because the connection with God is not an idea. It is an experience. It is a movement. And this movement begins within often with a gesture as simple as this one. Many people are afraid of silence. Accustomed to the noise of the world with distractions all the time, many believe that silence is emptiness, loneliness, or even a waste of time. But the chosen ones know that true silence is a sacred place. It is not absence, it is presence. And when the soul learns to enter this place, it discovers that there God speaks. When you silence yourself internally, something begins to emerge. The mind slows down, thoughts settle, and you start to hear what was previously covered. It is as if the soul, finally at peace, opens space for intuition to speak louder. And one of the ways to enter this silence is with the simple gesture of touching the tongue to the roof of the mouth. This small act functions as a signal for the body, a reminder that it is now time to turn inward. It is the first step to quieting what is agitated. It is not a mystical technique, but a practice of reconnection. The chosen ones carry spiritual signs in their bodies, and this is one of them. When done with intention, this gesture helps to seal the agitation. It closes the door to external distractions and opens the ear to what the Spirit wants to say. Many times, you are seeking an answer, but it does not come because everything is too noisy inside. True silence is not the absence of sound. It is clarity. And intuition, which is how God speaks to His people, needs this space to manifest. When the body understands that it is time to gather, the Spirit presents itself, and then insights arise, directions come, that feeling of knowing what to do, even without having all the information. This is not luck. It is the Holy Spirit speaking in the language of the interior. The more you practice, the stronger this silence becomes, and it becomes easier to recognize true intuition from that voice of fear or doubt. Because silence does not generate confusion, it brings peace. And when you feel this peace after silencing, know that it is God confirming something. If you have not yet experienced this, start with just a few minutes. Sit in silence. Lightly place your tongue on the roof of your mouth and just breathe. Do not expect immediate answers. Just allow yourself to be available. Intuition will come at the right time, and with it, the confirmation that you are hearing the voice that truly matters. When the spirit of a chosen one awakens, their energy changes. And this change does not stay inside them. It begins to touch everything around. It's as if a new frequency starts to vibrate in the environment. What was once heavy begins to clear. What was scattered gains direction. And the most beautiful thing, this happens effortlessly. The light does not shout, it simply shines. This process begins in a simple way, often with a gesture, a silence, a moment of presence. When you touch your tongue to the roof of your mouth and enter this state of connection with God, something subtle happens. The Spirit finds space, and when it finds space, it manifests, not in great movements, but in energy. Spiritual energy is not visible to the eyes, but it is felt by those who are near. A look that conveys calm, a word that comes at the right time, a hug that seems to carry comfort. These things do not come from techniques. They come from an interior filled with presence. And those who practice this constant return to themselves, with faith, with reverence, begin to see this become reality. The practice of the gesture of the tongue on the roof of the mouth then becomes a kind of reminder, a reminder of who you are. And this reminder generates alignment. The body tunes in with heaven, and in this state, the energy is not contained. It expands, and it touches, heals, inspires. The most impressive thing is that many times you do not even notice, but others do. They begin to seek your company, to ask for prayer, to share deep things, not because you forced it, but because your energy has changed. And where there is light, there is a path. Where there is true presence, there is transformation. This expansion does not mean that you become special. It means that you are being who you were born to be. A channel, a meeting point between heaven and earth. And the more you cultivate this with humility, the more God uses your life, and even your silence, to impact other lives. If you are feeling this happen, keep going. Maintain the practice, the silence, the attention. God is amplifying your light. And where there was weight before, now there is presence. And presence heals. There are moments when everything inside us asks for direction. The heart restless, the mind scattered, the soul crying out for meaning. In these moments, the chosen know that they do not need to run. They need to return. And often, this return begins with something very simple. A gesture, a subtle movement, like placing the tongue on the roof of the mouth with intention. This gesture is more than a response of the body. It carries a deep spiritual symbolism. It is as if it were a seal between heaven and earth. A silent agreement between your calling and the one who called you. Each time you do this in faith, you are reaffirming that you are not here by chance, that your life has purpose, that your journey has direction. The tongue on the roof of the mouth represents balance. It unites what was separated. It centralizes what was scattered. And spiritually, it symbolizes something even greater. A reunion with your center. When the chosen one does this consciously, the spirit aligns. It is as if it remembered, I was sent with a mission, and today I am available to fulfill it. This alignment changes everything. The body begins to respond with greater sensitivity. The mind becomes more lucid, and choices begin to reflect this state of connection. The gesture then becomes a starting point, a key that links the interior to the eternal. Because it is not just about discipline, it is about presence. It is about allowing heaven to manifest within your life through your body. The chosen often do not need to speak much. Their life already carries a language, and this gesture is part of that silent language. It communicates surrender, positioning, reverence. And each time you practice it with truth, you are telling God, I am here. Use me. If you had never noticed this, try it with humility. Do it in faith. Go beyond the form. Enter into the meaning. Because there, in the meeting of the tongue with the roof of the mouth, there is more than a gesture. There is a remembrance, a spiritual code, a return to the place of origin. And the more you honor this gesture, the more it strengthens you. Because it is not just an action. It is a covenant between your essence and your purpose, between your body and the Spirit of God who dwells in you. Nothing in your body was made by chance. Every detail, every sensation, every internal response, everything was designed with intention. And this gesture of touching the tongue to the roof of the mouth may seem simple, but it carries an ancient, deep, and sacred meaning. It is a reminder, a code that was dormant, waiting for the right moment to be activated again. The chosen do not live in search of external signs. They feel when something inside ignites, when the spirit moves, when the heart silences, when the presence of God takes space. And that is why small practices like this make so much sense. Because they awaken something that is already there, just waiting for permission to bloom. You do not need to understand everything right now. But if something inside you is stirring, if this content has touched you in a different way, that is already a sign. A sign that there is something inside wanting to be remembered, an essence that asks for space, a gentle voice that says, you did not come into the world just to survive. You came to fulfill. This gesture then becomes a form of reunion. Every time the tongue touches the roof of the mouth with intention, it is as if heaven and earth align within you. The noise outside loses its power. Distraction dissolves, and your spiritual identity begins to reveal itself with greater clarity. You are not lost. You just needed to remember who you are. It is not about technique. It is about presence. It is about going inward and allowing the Holy Spirit to move in the space you offer. This is the gesture, simple in the body, profound in the soul, and it is now in your hands, or rather, inside you. If you are ready for this awakening, do it now. Do not wait until later. Do not wait to feel ready, because faith is not waiting, it is surrender. So touch your tongue to the roof of your mouth, take a deep breath, close your eyes if you want, and say, even if just in thought, I remember who I am.